I got a weird text from someone today.
More weird than usual. I feel like you.
Yeah, it's not uncommon for me to get a weird text, I suppose. Actually, I got a text.
Was it cryptic?
No, not cryptic, but did make me be like,
You're going to get yours.
It did make me, yeah. God, I'd be still a lunatic right now.
Wait till I'm coming.
I'm going to come.
You guys are easy.
I'd be out there with the cork board and yarn trying to figure out who this motherfucker was. So it was from a buddy of mine who might come by on the pod at some point. And his name is Shanley, but Cat, my buddy Cat that passed away, for whatever reason, this dude's not Asian, but for whatever reason, Cat used to always call him Shang Li. I don't know why. So I might call him Shang Li on the show for that memory. Anyway, he texted me and he was like, how many figures do you have in your basement? And I was like, man, I don't know.
Well, they got off the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I was like, I have no idea. I was like, I think I have close to, if not a little over 100 stormtroopers. And then he was like, what do you think? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, so I was going to ask you guys if you'd ever considered that, just how many pieces you own. 1, and 2, how many do you think you own?
At some point, I think when I was at a height of like just buying every fucking thing. Now I'm thinking I have 200.
200 pieces.
Individual, like I mean, are we talking
Of
about
action figures?
I mean, are we,
Total. Statues count as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like of pieces on
What about art?
display.
That
Not
is
art.
nerd.
What-
related.
not art.
What
Not
is art though?
God damn it! No, like
Not
I'm
today,
sorry,
boys.
prints that I bought from Sideshow. Let's say that. Does
Yeah.
that-
No.
Okay.
No, just
So my upstairs nonsense doesn't count.
No.
I got you.
Yeah, you guys have more.
I'm gonna say I'm probably.
well, Chris is tricky.
Oh, he has lots of
Because you don't know,
bins.
yeah, you don't know
How many
well.
Zubios
So
you got?
Jesus Christ,
Everything that you see isn't everything that you get.
57, I believe.
57
as
Zubios
of the last
alone,
gifted
so-
one I got.
Yeah.
I normally get gifted at least 1 or 2 a year. People, it's pretty memorable. My best guess is 2,000 pieces.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, I have nowhere near what you have.
I got
obviously.
rid of so much.
And you got rid of so much. And
I've gotten
and,
rid of hundreds of things, literally.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking through like each collection. It might, if I count what's in storage and like all the stuff I have that's unopened, it's probably right around 2,000 pieces.
Are we going to count each individual miniatures? Oh, 40K?
No.
Because that would be
no.
ridiculous.
I'm not counting models.
Okay.
Figures and statues.
See, I don't know if it's.
You're definitely in the 4 digits down here also.
Yeah, I think you're probably closer to 5,000 pieces.
So I mean,
but
it's
if-
funny
if-
you say that.
Well, hang on. How many 3 3/4 Star Wars are in the film room?
So that's a part of it, right?
I mean, what? That's 500-600 pieces, isn't it?
So I think in my head when I got asked this.
I mean, I'm in the mood. Let's count. We'll be back in 2
No,
hours.
just let it run.
let it run.
People hitting 15 seconds, 50 seconds are like 347, 340. So numbers are not my strong suit.
I mean, this is literally just counting, though.
Yes, but I think I can handle counting.
Batch count.
But I just to say in terms of like how my brain works with numbers, I wrote him back and I was like, I don't know, 1,000.
You probably have close to 1,000 3 3/4 Star Wars figures, don't you?
No, I don't think so. So anyway,
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I have another question, but I want you to continue.
So I don't. So then Laura was like, Laura's guess was somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000, and then I counted the pieces just in my middle floor, between the office and the library.
Yeah.
and that was 271.
So, okay.
So it gets tricky, right? Because like in these detolfs here, it's like easy to count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in that detolf, right? Or that set of detolfs. But like the Green Lantern shelf, it gets a little trickier.
Yeah.
They're crammed in there like fucking sardines, you know?
Well, you know what? Here's an easy thing to do next year when you clean. Get some Post-it notes as you clean the shelf. Count the shelf. Put
counting.
a Post-it note, and then just for comedy's sake, right?
You can just use a clicker.
Well, Shang Li said he's coming for a Halloween party this year. He's like, I'm just going to count while I'm there. I need to get to the bottom of it.
Fair enough.
Good luck.
I won't be in a position to use all my fingers and toes, so I won't be.
I think I might be inviting him out next week.
So, what's your most complete collection, Bobby?
Oh.
Do you have anything that's 100% complete?
100%.
Like everything they've made of that.
I don't know, because I don't know if there's ever been anything that I've wanted. I mean, so I have. No, that's not even 100% complete.
I mean, and
Yeah,
obviously you could
I
say,
don't
yeah,
think so.
I have all the fan toys, but I mean, like,
Yeah, I don't think I do.
Like,
I don't even have all the Fans Toy stuff. Like,
all the Dinobot, like just the Dino. Yeah,
Yeah.
you got that as a collection. Do you think?
I don't think I have any complete line, because it gets to a point where I start to pick and choose, right? Like,
Yeah.
When I think about things that I have most of, like I have, I think no, because I only have the good guys of the Silverhawks they've put out.
Well, you get kind of a complete collection, as in complete collection of what you want, or complete collection.
Yeah,
of the
that's
line.
different. That's
complete
different.
collection of what you want is definitely different, because
That's
not.
different.
I don't think many people would or should collect fucking every single piece of multiple lines. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, a complete collection of what I want. I have multiple.
Yeah.
I have multiple.
I think that's closer to what.
Yeah.
I guess having all the carded Simpsons is the closest.
Yeah, you're really close to
Well,
them.
I have all the carded ones. I'm missing 2 things to have it completely.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think anything else I have.
Yeah,
It's nearly complete.
but I don't even know if I want anything else. I don't know if I want anything complete. Like, I think about like the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat line, for instance. Like, I want all those characters, but they did 3 different Scorpions, 3 different Sub-Zeros.
Well, yeah, and do you count that as complete to
Exactly.
have the
Exactly.
Hong Kong
Yeah, it gets
trade
tricky.
fair 400 pieces and stuff?
It gets tricky.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So now I'm curious, because I've never thought about it.
Do you have everything? Do you have anything in storage? I mean, do you have some old doubles? maybe?
Yeah, I got some stuff in storage.
But you don't have anything that you're like, I just need to find a place to put this.
No, I
See,
have
that's my dilemma right now.
I have a vintage Star Wars collection that's like nowhere near complete, and it's like they're like literally in a bag, like a grocery bag.
Gotcha.
Same for like I might have 3 Farm Boy Lukes for the vintage collection, or the 3 3/4 collection, but I only have 1 out on display, my favorite one.
I gotcha.
But it is interesting to think of it in terms of quantity, because I don't think I ever have, and it actually I was like, oof. Like, when I got, I was like, carry the one. I was like, oh shit.
I did that one time. I couldn't sleep one night. Went downstairs years and years and years ago.
I vaguely remember.
and just
that.
started like counting. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I had to stop. I'm like,
Yeah, I
got through
vaguely
one
remember
case.
that. Yeah. So anyway, interesting. Chris, you got your coffee first. Joe G, how was your nerd week?
So this is our 3rd podcast in the last 5 days.
It's true.
After not being together for like a month.
Yeah,
And this is make up for lost time.
it's
it.
true.
Even though the last time I was here was 2-week gap and I didn't fucking do shit, I watched the whole series in the last 3 days.
Did you really?
Yeah, all of Terminator Zero on Netflix.
How was it?
I saw that and was confused about what it was.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Is it a
I think
retelling or is it a news story?
It's a news story.
Okay,
It's
'cause it was-
animated, made by Studio IG, which is great studio.
Studio Instagram?
Goes in the Shell and amongst others. But animation's good. Story's good.
I almost started watching that last time, but we watched a couple episodes of something else I'll talk about.
Yeah, it was 8 episodes. Like we started at dinner just to have something to throw on. Usually after dinner, then we'll go play Minecraft or do something. But like we just stuck with it and watched the whole thing. It's new story, new perspective.
Like a reboot?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
I mean,
I'm just trying to understand what.
they cover. They also explain and cover. They did that.
Put me in a timeline.
For Genesis, right? 5. They talked about
4.
one of those.
Oh, 3.
4. 3 was the one with the.
Ooh. We're counting, Bob. I'm just practicing. 1.
They covered that in that movie in the sense that they kept changing things, but Judgment Day kept coming in different ways, so to speak.
Yeah. I'm gonna cut.
So this story covers a lot of ground, including explaining time travel and how it's not what the common person thinks, and it doesn't work that way.
I might give it a while. I might make it some airplane
There's
fodder. This
a lot of philosophy and conversation in it. It's like it's two parallel stories going on at the same time. There is the more actiony part where it has some traditional Terminator DNA of a Terminator hunting somebody, someone needing to run away, someone needing to be protected. But that is not the whole story, which is part of the problem of that franchise, right? Every movie became one guy comes to kill one guy, one guy comes
I'm
back
gonna
to save
come
him.
kill you. When I get done killing you, I'm gonna come.
So this takes place in Japan.
Weird.
And runs parallel with the Judgment Day story.
I guess if this shit was going to happen, right? If the Skynet thing was going to happen, it's going to happen in one of two places. It's going to, or three: China, Japan, or Silicon Valley. Right? Like those are the three places where it will happen.
Right. So this takes place in, we don't know which Judgment Day, but as far as we know, the original timeline, somewhere around the original timeline, everything's.
Does it feel like it's the early 90s? Like, is
it is.
that's
It
the
is.
vibe?
That is what it is.
Then that's it.
It starts off the day before Judgment Day.
Okay.
It starts off August 29th, 1997. and that is because that's the day, right? The 30th, I think,
At
or the
2:14 in the morning. Or
I think I want to check it
So
out.
this starts the day before.
Okay.
And follows a storyline. Has future parts and of course covering how people time travel and stuff. But it starts there, and you have till tomorrow to figure this shit out.
Interesting.
And it's not that Skynet's in Japan, but this story takes place in Japan, and Skynet's about to happen in America.
I was saying I wasn't saying it took place.
Right.
I was just saying in real life it would be one of three places.
Yeah. But yeah, it has a lot of philosophical conversations in it that takes place between a human and an AI, voiced by Rosario Dawson.
Is that 8 episodes?
8 episodes.
Netflix likes an 8-episode series, and I'm okay with that.
Who don't like an 8th?
Exactly.
Classic.
But yeah, I highly enjoyed it. If you like action, you like it. If you like Terminator, you like it. If you like some food for thought, you'll like it. If you like different variations of time travel, you'll like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, high recommend from me.
Right on.
Nice.
And other than the podcast we did in the middle of the night for 3.5 hours.
Yeah, well, we could talk about that. So we had a podcast Saturday night. After dark.
With candles lit.
With candles lit.
Just waiting on the bubble bath.
Good energy. And went into like the behind the scenes history, thoughts, opinions, emotions regarding the history of Nerd Rage Radio.
And some future.
from his
looking-
And in the future as well. What do we feel about that? I'll open it up to.
I mean, I told you guys when we first walked in the room, I thought that was great. The more I reflected on it, like I wanted to talk to you guys more about shit yesterday, right? It's like,
See, I mean, this is what we did. After we thought we were done talking, we turned off the mic. We sat around and talked for another 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's not usually how we do things.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
yeah, it was good. I think it was good for us as a group,
I do too.
and I think it was just I think it'll be a good listen.
Yeah, it was weird for me, like what I took away from it, because I do think it was great.
Yeah, I mean, it was cathartic. It was like,
Yes.
and I feel like I get to ask questions or hear your opinions on thoughts on certain things that I normally wouldn't ask or I would assume.
Yeah.
So like I feel like everything is very communicated and understood between the three of us.
Yeah, I
at
agree.
this point. No guessing games.
And by the time you guys hear this, it will be out and available on Patreon.
It's behind a paywall.
Oh yeah, has to be.
It has to be.
It has to be. But I'll tell you what I took away from it the next day. I was like, it is crazy how you can be in a room with people for 3 hours a week, week after week, month after month, year after year, and still miss the fuck out of them in some way. You know, because you don't necessarily get to. Sometimes you do, but oftentimes you're not that you're going through the motions, but the podcast itself has a flow and a rhythm to it, and you just hop on board. And sometimes it goes to emotional places, like it did last week, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, like
Just take jokes the whole time.
What did Ali G say one time? He's like, it's been real, it's been fun at times, it's been boring.
That's just life.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily get. I don't know. You can be in the same room and somehow not connect in a real way, and I think that's like a dopamine drip for me these days is like really connecting with human beings, and it was a pleasure to do it. I had a blast, and I think it was very therapeutic.
Absolutely.
It was cool to hear Laura's thoughts on a lot of things and opinions. Towards
Yeah,
the
so
end,
Laura sat in with us the whole time.
Yeah.
yeah, because I mean, she's been there the
whole time.
The whole time. The only other person in this room other than Bobby who's been here the whole time.
Yeah. So it was interesting. We called Jisk for a portion because he was there for one of the first big incidents. And, you know, that
Dude.
that was funny. But yeah, you know, and I could there's other elements to it that we didn't get into that I feel like we could have, but I don't think it detracts. Like, it probably would have been interesting to hear just how everybody else, that's kind of like, you know, like how Evan ended up getting on.
Yeah,
and
all the
Chucky
other
O,
teams,
and,
yeah.
yeah, and
Hey, man, I thought we were going to get into it, but we were 3.5 hours.
yeah, it was 3.5 hours, and it was late, you know, and I was pretty fucked up by the end. So yeah, it was good, I think, and subscribe to Patreon and give it a listen if you're interested.
Yeah, I mean, if you've been around for a long time, if you've been around with other cast members on, then you might be interested.
Yeah, I think it's a, and I think it was honest. I think it was 3.5 hours of 3 people and then one chimer inner, being very, very honest with each other for, in a very kind of guard down way, you know, which was, I thought, great. So Chris, Nerd Week. So, there's a wrestler in New Japan Pro Wrestling that uses a drill song. I'm going to play it and see if you should. And I'm going to, I'm going to play a song too. Go ahead.
Let's see. I think this is it.
All right.
Hold on. Let me see. Nope, that's not it. Sorry.
All right.
Give me a sec.
Here. You want that?
Oh my God. I don't have this technology.
Oh, you don't?
You don't have a jack?
No. Is this it?
That doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I'll find it and send it to you. But Gabe Kidd, who's gonna be a big deal. He'll be a major star on American
on
TV
wrestling.
in the next couple of years. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Speaking of wrestling, so let me tell the whole story. So my wife flew back down to Alabama.
She did?
I mean,
Oh, God, give it to you.
we really need the banjo back on the next sweep. The banjo speaks so much more to my heart.
Well, you said you had a third one. I'm going to change it again at the end of the year.
Oh,
you said,
it's
you like, I got a new one.
It's just Forrest Gump yelling Alabama when
That'll
Jimmy's
work.
getting on the bus to
That'll work.
go spread her AIDS around.
Well, it's funny because I know people that listen to this show now that mop with me. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, dude, who's Alabama Man? That dude's cool. Like, you know, it's like,
Hell yeah. Sign me up.
yeah.
So Kelly goes back down. They have the funeral, which let me ask your guys' opinion. Like, if you have made it clear that you want to be cremated, does that, when you say that, do you mean you don't have any intentions of there being a ceremony with your body laying in the room?
Yes.
Okay. I would assume anyone who wants to be cremated doesn't want that, but they had an open casket funeral.
Which is wild.
And Kelly said he looked like a white Martin Luther King. and they did a horrible job covering up the hole.
Oof.
I didn't understand why they wanted to open casket in the first place.
Here's my uneducated guess. It's not an educated wish, but they went to the funeral home and they talked her into it. I guarantee you they upsold her to do it.
I got you.
You know,
On the
well,
vulnerable.
your policy will cover this,
Right.
Yeah, but what you don't know is you get that money back. Long story short, they did that. You know, Kelly said she held it all together until they did this. Her younger sister organized everything and actually did a great job. She's like, this is almost like it's like a reverse wedding, and it kind of is. But you know, she spent a lot of time with her mom rather. Gosh, that's not with her mom and her sister, and you know, I'm interested to see how that relationship progresses. If they continue to be close, or if it was just okay. Well, we talked to you while we had to. Well, you know, it seems like all the animosity is gone. So,
Well, that's good. I mean, that's a net positive.
Yeah.
So she left Wednesday, I think. Yeah, she left when she got back Sunday. So she was down there for however
I
long.
mean, even if you don't continue having a close relationship, like, it's still good to have that off your, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's something you don't have bubbling in the back of your
Put
mind.
those bags down.
And here's the craziest part: there's a housekeeper involved.
Really? Well, why weren't they cleaning up the fucking mess?
That's a great point that didn't get addressed.
Like,
And this housekeeper knew way too much about her, about Kelly's mom and dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, if,
I know where everything is in the show. Like, Kelly said she was looking for old photo albums, and the woman's like, well, I know where everything is in this house, whether it's in a box or not. And Kelly was like thinking, bitch, why are you going through boxes in the attic?
Yeah.
And just like, I guess her mom put on some different jewelry to go to the funeral and was like, yeah, I've never seen that jewelry before. Where do you keep that? And just really weird question. Like, apparently was going around the service saying that he had shot himself in like while looking at her, and I just
While looking at her?
they let her go. I said, you can change the fucking locks.
yeah.
How did she come into their life? Well, the neighbor lady recommended her. Does she clean her house? No, but she cleans 2 other ladies' houses. Y'all need to get your shit together, because I guarantee you she's rolling around stealing shit from people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. How about that?
Or just-
I'm like, wow, that's an interesting wrinkle. Right. So, Mason did a great job cooking while we were gone, while Kelly was gone. She had ordered the meal kits, and he made 2 incredible dishes. I have pictures. This is some pork taquitos.
Oh, wow.
Ketos. Oh wow, they look legit. They played it so well.
I did the plating.
Oh, that's why.
But then him and his girl made pesto for a pesto chicken pasta that was banging.
Nice.
Fucking love
I didn't get a picture of that because I had to eat it while I was in front of the computer. But so I knew that New Japan Pro Wrestling was coming to DC for Capital Collision, which they do it annually. And I was just looking at tickets, and I was like, 4th row for $41. What the hell?
4th one from the back, maybe.
No, from the ring.
I just say that seems like a really
4th
cheap
row,
ticket.
right? So I knew Kelly was going to be out of town. I'm like, I'll go by myself, but I don't want to go by myself. So I said, hey, Mace, what are you doing Friday night? So Mason he's never been to a wrestling show, believe it or not. I've never
Even
drugged
I've
him
been to
before.
one.
So I guess 4th row at a Japanese wrestling show isn't too awful, but we got there, and by the way, fuck DC.
Oh, I've been saying that for.
I know, but just
Years.
getting anywhere in like this is
Yeah.
at
If I can't take the train, I'm not coming. I'm not going to come.
so it's come to find out, I've been to wrestling. I've been to AEW at this building before. It's where the Washington Mystics play, the
that's not
WNBA
familiar.
team. Guys, I remember, and I probably talked about it when we went last time. There's all these like housing units, but some of them are like condemned. But they look like they're not old. Like they look like they were built like this century. I don't know. It's very strange. Anywho,
I wonder if it's like those Chinese towers that are like.
Hey yo.
No, I don't think so. They're like these huge apartment buildings that the Chinese government built, but like no one lives there.
Yeah, okay.
They're like these ghost towns. They're like these
Well, it's
huge ghost towns.
you'd think that would be it, but it's like there's this 1 or 2 buildings that are like, they got the windows boarded up, everything. But then across the street, there's people living there. So I don't know. It's very
Baltimore has
strange.
a lot of row houses. That
Yeah, but it's not. I
even
don't
in
know.
the same row. Like you have a
sprinkled in.
yeah, you have like a house that's collapsing on itself, and
Yeah.
people just living next door, just fine.
Yep.
Well, we get there, we end up sitting basically the exact same place. Like let's say Joey's in the ring, we're 4 rows away from him, and the entrance way is like literally where we're right there in that little corner, which is they're great seats. But it's ironically the last time I was there, we sat basically in the exact same place. But I have indeed, gentlemen, found the stinkiest crowd in all of pro wrestling, and it's a New Japan Pro Wrestling crowd.
Really? Wow. Why?
So we get there, and we had I think 6 and 7 in there. So
All
we,
that wagyu.
we were almost. Well, it's fat white guys mostly. So
it's ragu.
it's
Wagyu, ragu
What do they
confusion.
call? It starts with a W. What do they call like anime fans?
Weebs? Yeah.
So
Oh,
combine
the
those
weebs,
things.
yes. Oh, yikes.
So we get there, and this place is not sold out by any means. There's actually seats, like there's front row that's empty. Now, let me make sure I paint this picture, because they do things different in Japan, and obviously at this show. One, they don't have turnbuckle pads. They just have a long, almost like a kickboxing style pad in the corner. That's just how New Japan does it. So that is one thing that's different. The ring announcer also is the bell ringer, and they sit behind the guardrail. So I'm like here to the door from the ring, and the people doing the English commentary, they're sitting right there too. So we sit down, and there is a man sitting in the row in front of Mason that made me look like Joey. He is huge. Like, he might have been 7 feet tall and was... If he didn't play like linebacker in the NFL, somebody missed an opportunity.
Right.
And those poor flip-flops.
It is me.
It is you.
That all checks out.
So, I mean, Mason was like, it was literally like this big sitting in front. So he's trying to, we stand up and
you guys are tall too. That's
right. So there was an empty seat next to me. So I scooched down a little bit, and then this guy comes and sits there. And so it's pretty tight. But then the big dude, like his friend group, somebody else comes and just like squeezes in between him and another seat, like literally right in front of me.
Yeah.
But then the big guy moves down a couple seats. I'm like, oh, awesome. So we could both see. But then the two dudes that were next to me, one of them, basically the way these shows work security wise, if you're on the floor, they check you at the floor and make sure you're on the floor, and then you can pretty much sit wherever you want. So these guys hopped to the front, and then we had more room to spread out. So that was awesome. It was a fun show. Mason really enjoyed some of the technical wrestling. And here's something I wanted to bring up. So the first two matches were, I think the first one was a 3-way tag team match. So there were 6 people.
I've had one of those.
Hell yeah, dude. Let me think about that for a minute. Yeah, okay, sure.
Good enough.
She didn't get pregnant.
He was confused because he didn't understand what was, because, I mean, there's no commentary explaining what's going on.
Yeah.
So he was like, it didn't make any sense to him. I'm like, you know what? That's
watching a foreign movie with no subtitles.
Well, no, that's not even that. Just you're at any wrestling. There's no commentating. I can understand why it could be confusing. And the next match was a 3-on-3 tag match.
I'm up for it.
Hell yeah. No, hey, one of the guys involved in this is named Driller Maloney, so you might not.
Hey, I enjoy competition.
Okay. And then the third match
Actually, I'm too old to be doing a whole bunch of excess. But like,
I hear you, man.
My stroke now is fine. It's gonna get us there. But all that pounding away shit, like let's have an evening instead.
There you go. I'll tell Driller Maloney.
I'll throw my back out.
Not again. The third match was Zack Sabre Jr., who is probably one of the top 5 wrestlers in the world, and he's like super technical with the reverses and stuff. And he had an incredible match with a guy from Mexico. But overall, it was good. We left before the main event because it was a women's match, and I just didn't give.
Yeah, okay.
I'm being honest.
Enough.
Because I know
Before the main event, because it was women. Got it.
Yeah.
I watch their entrances. I don't enjoy either of their work, so it doesn't matter. If it had been a men's match the same way, just because I was like, I'd rather just get the fuck out of here than
and get stuck in the parking lot.
In the parking garage, yeah, for sure. So that was fun. What did I do Saturday? Oh, I played
here.
I came here, but before I came here, and actually, I need to tell the story. So I was going to buy the new Star Wars Outlaws game. Krista bought a new computer, which came with a free copy of it.
You mentioned them.
So I pre-installed it and found out it's on it. I know everybody has opinions about this, and I'm starting to form an opinion about Ubisoft.
Yep.
Because you have to play this through their portal.
Yep.
And you can't use a controller, like a PS5 controller, through their portal. So you have to import it into Steam. I had to learn all this. And then use Steam, because Steam will let you use
controllers.
But it works fine that way.
Yep.
I could not get the shit to work. I don't know if because I had pre-downloaded it, and I think they might have patched it before they released it.
Yeah.
But they didn't
patch.
Long story short, I deleted everything, reinstalled it, restarted everything, and it fucking worked.
That sounds obnoxious.
It was a lot. I mean, I'll be honest. It was almost to the point where I could just spend $70 on my PS5 and be playing. But I want to be able to take it with me on the road to play, right? So,
you should get a Steam Deck.
Maybe. I have this game.
I mean, Steam is. I like Steam.
I have a gaming laptop, so I'm just going to use that. And I've got it set up with my headphones and my remote and going to town. It's fun. there's nothing revolutionary about
Yep,
it.
that's what everyone's
It's
saying.
got a lot of, considering it's a completely different company, it's got a lot of the exact same like vibes and overall feel to the Jedi games that came out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which I thought were both phenomenal. It doesn't have all the crazy parkouring, jumping, bouncing, flip flopping, because you're just a person. You can't do that. There is some like wall climbing aspects, but it's not like an entire level where you have to triple jump to this those crazy. Yeah. It's a lot of sneaking. It's a stealthy game.
Like a Tenchu. Stealth Assassin.
Yeah.
How do you know,
Dude, do not.
Bro.
Dude, Mattress Warehouse over here, man. Sleeping on me.
I gotcha. I was thinking more along the lines
I
of
haven't heard attention in a minute.
Yeah, let me break that bad boy out. I'll dust you off.
fair enough. I was thinking more along the lines of
come right behind you. You never saw me coming.
I was going to say Splinter Cell. That was the last one.
Yeah.
But what's like that Aliens game that gave me a lot of anxiety, this does as well. And it's not super clear what you're supposed to be doing. It's like overloading you on things to do. And the speeder controls are trash.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Like the left
That
is
should be
right
the
and
fun
right
part.
is left.
Oh, inverted? You can't change it in the
I
menu?
looked everywhere. You know what
But like-
I've done?
Turn the control
Turn the
upside down.
control upside down.
That's wild.
That's
you
wild.
Can't, you can't just learn inverted
I've
controls.
tried.
Inverted controls are like very normal.
I understand that, but I'm not. So it all works out.
Fair.
I played that. I've probably got about 10 hours in on it, and I'm not very far, but I'm also not rushing through it because I just enjoy looking at stuff. That's part of it for me. Same with watching Star Wars, like looking at the sets and the different, that's a cool way to do that and things like that. Let's see here. I didn't mention this last week, but I don't know why, but I watched whatever this current season of Cobra Kai that just came out.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I watched the first half of that.
I was going to interject with Star Wars. Did you see
Yes.
a Black Series figure leaked from the new show Skeleton Crew?
I didn't, but I did.
Is that a toiler?
I did see.
I
I
guess
did
so.
see.
I think they showed it. I don't know.
Squid Game guy at Walmart. I thought about picking him up for you, but I figured you already had about half a dozen of them coming to make random Jedi.
No,
And his face is trash on it.
Yeah, I'm
So he has
just
on makeup.
I'm just not interested.
I know you're not.
But I'm not interested in this little figure either.
What about OSHA? Did you want OSHA?
No, I don't want none of it.
The occupational
Celebrated the fact that it was canceled immediately.
the occupational safety
I don't
and
actually.
health.
Even some of them I don't want.
Well, you shouldn't. They're a lot. Trying to think of Jason. So I don't remember where I landed in the show, but I have finished watching The Boys,
Okay.
and it was fucking phenomenal, as I would have imagined it would be. I actually kind of dug the last episode of The Acolyte. I don't remember if I got to talk about that on there or not.
I don't think so.
I kind of thought it turned it around a bit. I thought it was a really good storytelling, and I did enjoy that last episode a lot. But I can also see why they're not going forward with it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean some of those characters might show up in something else, right?
Yeah, that's true.
They may
They established
take another
characters. They're
stab at.
canceling the series, not the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with canceling all of them. There's nothing. I don't know if I see one redeemable. Snoke looked surprisingly cool.
Snoke?
Not Snoke.
Plagueis.
Plagueis.
Yeah.
Plagueis looked
Because I always thought he would be doofy.
doofy.
He's a
'Cause
doofy-looking race.
doofy-looking race.
Yeah.
But they
He's a banking clan guy, right?
yeah, and you can barely see him, so
Yeah.
that's part of it.
Yeah.
But he did look surprisingly cool. That is the one thing, the only thing
Does that 3 seconds out of the whole fucking
that
12 hours or whatever?
I will give that show. And I don't think this other show is going to be any better.
Skeleton Crew?
I really don't
already
think
out
we're
on
the
it's fucking
target audience for that.
Yeah.
It needs a massive turnover.
I mean,
Like,
I think
You
that-
know when the bed has reached its final stage, when that motherfucker, you're putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. You keep having to wrap the little corner piece over. Getting to bed is harder just to find where the sheet is. Like it's time to strip the bed, wash it, and start again.
Yeah.
You have pushed it to its limits. That's where Star Wars is for me. It needs to have the bed stripped. It needs to be thrown in the washing machine, put on high tumble dry, and then put back on the bed nicely.
I think maybe what they have done is giving up on you, your generation of fans, and say fuck them, whatever. We're gonna just push all this kid shit out and hopefully get the next generation. That's what it feels like.
Well, maybe.
Right?
Maybe.
If it
But
works, if the kids are liking it,
so
then-
far, not so good.
right?
You know, like maybe what worked for me is the same thing. You know, like because like my kids loved episode 7. You know, like maybe just doing it right is the answer. You know, like instead of trying to completely tear it down and build it back up in your image, like some sort of deity that's gone out of control.
Speaking of deities, Kelly and I started a show last night.
Started going to
called-
church. I thought,
Mormon church.
No. We started watching a show called Chaos with a K that is on Netflix. It is about the Greek gods, and it's very confusing. It's set in modern-ish times. Jeff Goldblum is Zeus. It's a very unique
I've
take
never
on the
heard of
character.
it. What the fuck?
It's
It's a TV show?
Yeah, it's a series on Netflix.
This new?
Yeah.
Like how new?
Like this, I think pretty new.
And I mean,
I could tell you the
How
day
new?
it
I think
released.
pretty new.
like, is it like this year and like I just never heard of it, or it's like a few years ago and I forgot about it?
Chaos is the strangest spelled word. It says it's a comedy series.
That's Jeff Goldblum.
It came out this year.
Okay.
I don't know. It says
It
2024 UK.
never. I mean, I'm on Netflix a lot, just scrolling sometimes, and it's never.
Well, now that we've
crossed-
spoken it,
yeah, it's gonna.
it'll
It's
definitely
gonna.
show.
Yeah, my
I watched
phone
2
had it.
episodes. I don't know. It may not be for me. I mean, Kelly's like telling me all this. I know generically who the Greek gods are. I'm not studied on it, but I think a lot of the books she listens to have stuff to do with it. So she was much more into it than I was. But I don't know.
Did you ever watch The Immortals?
What's that?
It was a movie. It was done by. I always say this, and I always feel guilty. I don't know if I'm supposed to or not. I don't know what the rules are regarding this anymore. My apologies to Sony and Sanjay ahead of time. It's directed by this Indian guy.
Oh, okay.
That's like kind of known for his stunning visual works. He did The Cell, which was visually amazing.
Yeah.
He did a movie called The Fall, which you have not seen because I feel like that's one that I was going to try to watch with you at some point. The Fall. So The Fall is his Pulp Fiction. So he did The Cell just to get money to do The Fall. The Fall was his baby, and it's fascinating. It's not for everybody. I love it, but it's not for everybody. And then The Fall didn't perform, so he kind of got thrown back into like the Hollywood spin wheel and ended up doing this movie called The Immortals, which is a famous Greek story about some Greek character, but the gods are in it. And the gods is such an interesting take on the gods because like it's just like anything else, right? Like, you know, when you think of Zeus, you think of the dude that's like jacked to the nines, right? Like big beard, like, you know, flowing
lightnings.
white hair,
Yeah.
you know, and they made him. It's a little skinny guy, you know. It's like they like scrawnied them all up, these like gods, and they're like kind of bored and
Yes.
like, you know, I just think it was a fascinating.
I enjoyed that movie, and
And
I enjoyed that version.
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey, I was going to say, well,
hits a dude in the nuts with a sledgehammer. Do you remember that? It's like early in the beginning. They like
I don't think I've ever seen
they
that.
take this guy. He's sitting on his ass with his feet out like a
Yes.
like a child at a picnic.
Yes.
And they like restrain his feet like
Yeah.
this. And Ricky Rourke does like a golf swing with this. I think it's a cement block, you know, attached to like a pole.
Yep.
And smashes it into this dude's nuts. It might not be Ricky Rourke. It might be the dude with the bull's head. There was like a guy that wore like a whole bull's head.
Yeah.
You know, like
Like Minotaur looking.
yeah, and he was like the executioner. Anyway, the movie is. I think it's cool, and I think it's a good story
Visually,
But visually, it is like, how did they do this? You know, but that guy always does visually amazing things.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to watch any more of this, to be honest. We
Yeah.
watched 2 episodes, and
Watch The Immortals instead. It's good.
sure, I'll sign up for
Really
that.
good.
I think I'm going to try the Terminator first. Sorry, Bobby.
No, sorry. Immortals is good though. I'm telling you,
Mason,
might be good diorama stuff in there too.
maybe. Mason and I came to an agreement that we're not going to finish watching It's Better Call Saul together, just because it's just hard for us time frame wise with his schedule and my schedule.
Yeah,
So
you're always out of town. And stuff.
I think I'm going to try to finish that up this year.
Nice.
Yeah, I really enjoy that show. It's fantastic every episode. I don't know if Vince Gilliam's up to anything now, but
No clue.
he did a good job with that. And Breaking Bad. I guess that's really about it. I'm sure there's some holes somewhere, but you get the gist of it.
I did.
Oh, I do have one more thing. I'm sorry.
Please.
So for my job, I had put together an incentive contest with one of the companies that we sell our stuff to. It did not go well.
No.
No,
No one participated.
the bogey we put out would have been for five people to end up going on this trip, along with 5 people from, like one of their supervisors, yada yada yada. We did about enough to bring 2 people. Long story short, I ended up having to book a trip for 14 people.
Oh my God.
To Nashville we have a facility there. We give tours, and then we're going to the Jack Daniels experience.
That's
we're going
supposed to be something.
It is. I mean, and a lot of these guys are actually from Canada, so they've never been to Nashville. We're going to go have dinner on the General Jackson Showboat cruise.
There you go.
Down, yeah. So we're doing all the Nashville stuff. I got them to pay for their flights, and I'm going to reimburse them because I'm like, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to, do that.
Book all these flights, yeah.
And then it came down, I needed to book 14 hotel rooms. So I found a place, and then I needed to pay for 13 hotel rooms actually, because somebody dropped out like while I was booking all this shit. So I actually have extra tickets and some stuff. And I had to book a dinner, which they're going to put our logo in the menu and all this shit. It's going to be nice.
So corporate.
It came down to, I had to have the money Friday to get these hotel rooms locked in. I didn't have the money on my credit card to cover it, and they're telling me we can't. That will go against your personal travel and entertainment budget for the year, which would be like 2/3 of my travel and entertainment budget for the year.
Yeah, so it's 14 fucking people.
Long story short, it was a fire drill, no pun intended, to get this done. It was a Chinese fire drill, Joey.
Specifically, yes.
But Friday morning about 11 o'clock, it was finished. And that was such a weight off my shoulders.
Nice.
I just got done helping to plan an event the weekend before. And then here I walk right into having to do this. But
Unnecessary stress.
it's all come together. I got it all done. And my boss was a big help because he had to do some things that was just, he has authorization to do that I didn't. But yeah, that was a big stress for me last week. So I'm glad to have that done.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing.
I don't have a ton, obviously. We just, got together pretty recently. But I do have a little bit. For one, I'm going to try to make this a tradition here because I do enjoy the input, and I do think that it leads to some interesting conversations sometimes. Not all the time. But so Bobby Boogie Bop, right? As I've told it on here before, picking the opener and the closer for me,
the music, yeah.
You would have no idea how much time I berate myself over making sure that I pick the right choice. I don't know why it matters so much to me, but it matters a lot to me, more than it should, right? For all I know, motherfuckers are not even getting to the goddamn end of the show. Do you know what I mean? And that's one of the, I'm picking that's where Man in the Mirror goes. That's where Purple Rain goes. That's where November Rain goes. So next month, or this month, I'm recording it for next month, is Pink Floyd. And what would you, if you're familiar with the catalog, if not, that's fine too. What do you choose for the opener and the closer for Pink Floyd? On this audio platform.
I'm listening.
I'm just
in my head.
You're listening in your head.
No, I'm listening in my head to, I mean, The Wall is one of them.
I mean, obviously.
Right? So I don't know if you open or close it.
So The Wall is tricky, though.
Because it's you could actually play half of it at the beginning and the other half at the end.
Because The Wall is a suite. It's like 4 songs.
Yeah.
Right.
We play the second one as the single. The Wall Part 2 is the single.
Mm-hmm.
So I am choosing The Wall Part 2 as the opener because I do think it's their most bop. Of it, but then when I get to The Wall, I'm going to play the whole suite. Because it does matter. That album in particular, if you're not familiar, it has 1,000 fucking songs on it. But it's almost like they're ready for the streaming era. Some of them are 1 minute and 30 seconds. Some of them are 45 seconds. Some of them are 2 minutes because they're meant to flow into one another and kind of be this story.
And the closers Wish You Were Here.
Okay.
I think that's it.
All right.
I mean, that's such a nice,
Makes sense.
cap song. And
So I'm going to play The Wall, then I'm going to play all 4 parts because there's like one song that's not called The Wall, but it basically is The Wall.
Are you talking about Wizard of Oz?
So I am
I've
going to
never
talk.
done that, but I'd love to do that.
I haven't done. I would do it too. It's at the second or third Lions Roar. I can't remember. I used to know
I
it.
bet you we could look it up. That would be a fun thing to do.
Yeah, but it's Anyway, so I think I'm going. Are you co-signing that?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm going with The Wall Part 2 for the opener, and then Comfortably Numb for the closer.
Oh, that's a good one too. That's a good one too. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
Damn. Okay. I'm changing my voice.
You're right,
I'm changing my voice.
But that's the shit that that's the shit that I bang my head against the wall. Like even there's a song.
But then you come up with a really good choice.
Well, so there's another let me tell you where I
Probably not as cut and dry because I'm
It's
gonna be honest
hard,
with you,
dude.
That's probably the 3 of their songs I can name off the top of my head.
So are you familiar with the song called "The Great Gig in the Sky"?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll put on Classic Rock Station and just listen.
Just listen.
And I don't even fucking know that it's. Sometimes I don't even know it's Pink
Or
Floyd.
maybe be called "The Great Big Gig."
If
I think it's
I'm
The
sure
Great
I've
Gig.
heard. If you played it, I'm sure I could tell you. Oh yeah, I know.
So
that
it's
song.
off "Dark Side," right? Do you know the song?
I have to
Why don't
hear
you
it.
play a
I'm
clip
the
of it
same
for
way.
us so we're on the same?
I know a lot of
whether it's
music,
on
but
the-
not by their name of this.
All right, so it's mainly this was one that's in the running for me, but it's mainly an instrumental, and then at the very end, this woman starts singing. Like I don't think they actually sing on the record at all, which isn't uncommon for them. But I'll play it here, see if you remember it or know it. Yeah, because it's just people talking. So.
Oh, I know. I recognize piano.
Yeah, and like the story to this is that like because they talk like am I not frightened of dying? Anytime will do. I don't mind. Right? Is that? It's all this stuff, right?
Yep.
So anyway, it's just this, and then it ends with this. And it goes into this woman singing crazy. Right? Yeah. For like the rest of the song, just doing this. And like that to me is like a great closer. But like, do you close with a song where they don't actually fucking perform on us? You know what I mean?
Well, I
Like,
mean,
but it's still their
If
music.
the point is to
Yeah,
have
yeah,
people
yeah.
have an experience and listen all the way through, I think you're going to have to put.
But that's the type of shit that I go over and over and over. And the same thing with The Wall. Like, do you play like my issue with The Wall was I am not going to skip. I'm going to play that whole suite. So do you play The Wall twice? You know, once at the opener and then again at the suite. And that's what I think I'm going to go with. But like, because they have like other like pop hits Pink Floyd does, but they're like after Waters left. Because they had like 3 lead singers. Mm-hmm. They had the one dude that was like drugged out of his fucking mind that was like only around for like an album. He was supposed to be the brilliant one. And then Waters took over, and then Waters left and thought it was going to end, and they kept on without him. And then the guitarist Gilmore took over. But like to have like a Pink Floyd song open up the show and Waters not be on it seems like that's the wrong choice too, you know? So like these are the things that I drive myself insane over. Anyway, let's see what else I got here. So Pink Floyd opener, I can erase that off the list. All right.
Or do you open with Wish You Were Here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I Wish You Were Here is great. They have a pretty impressive catalog, but a lot of their songs are so either like
That might be my
A minute
favorite
and a half,
song. Wish You
like
Were Here.
minutes.
15 fucking minutes. Some of those fucking records.
Yeah.
Like I love that song. I don't know the name of it. It's on the Animals album. I get confused because they're like it's like 5 songs on it's Wings of a Pig or some shit. It's like the first song, and then like Wings of the Pig Part 2 is the last song, and then there's 3 songs in the middle: dogs, pigs, and sheep. And I don't know which one is which. I can never keep track. But that one is like down White House, ha ha, charade you are. Like that's a hard song, but it's like a 12-minute fucking record. You know, like how much do you play? Anyway, let's see. Okay, so Jaina had like a birthday party of sorts here last night, and she'd probably be upset if I mentioned this, but she doesn't.
She doesn't listen to the show.
I doubt her peers are listening.
Yeah, I hope not, because it involves them. So she is part of a community, an online community for one of the animes that she's really into.
Okay.
And in this community, she is somewhat of a big deal. Now, it's a very small community because it's not a super popular show.
Okay.
But she is a presence. She's a force in this show, a bit of a leader, almost, honestly.
Wow.
And she has created a character that exists in this universe.
An OC.
An OC, if you will, Joe. And that character has now become very popular with this crowd. So people draw her character a lot and send it to her as like offerings and tithes. But they also like to do trades. They also like to do trades.
She was working on one when we were here.
So she'll draw something and they'll draw something and they trade. So she had a friend sleep over last night who I'd never met, but it's like a friend that she has at high school now, which I couldn't be happier about.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
And
was the one that went with her to a con?
yes.
Okay.
And she's like, she kind of thinks anime's cool, but she's not super into it either. And she's kind of strange in her own way. Right. And I met her for the first time.
That's the title of the show. Strange in your own way.
Strange in your own way. But I liked her. You know, I thought she was cool. So anyway, Jaina had this idea that she was going to make a slideshow to play of all the people that have made art for her.
Ah, yes.
And we were going to judge it.
Oh, what is art?
Yes, but not whether or not it's art though.
It's definitely all art.
Just whether or not it's good.
Yeah.
Right. Or we like it. Whether or not we like it. So anyway, I was like, all right, well, let's turn up on these whores. And I fucking started making orange crushes.
Okay.
And I started shitting on this shit.
On children's art.
And I was in my bag. Oh, and let me tell you something else. That was
You
another thing. No, I should have. I should have. But
I asked if you were going to make content out of it, but it's probably
should've.
best you didn't.
Yeah, you're probably right about that too. But
Bobby's a monster.
dude, I was tearing this shit apart. And then so the children line came up at one point. She's like, this is a kid's, and I was like, that's a 35-year-old man for sure.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, you know who all these people are.
Yeah. So tell me what Dave did here, you know? And you know, it's just like it was. So I started talking. I mean, I was going in on some of this shit, like some of the characters, the way they would draw. You know, hands are tricky anyway, right? AI knows it better than most. And like these hands would be all gnarled up in these like little. And I'd be like, how does that bitch hold a pencil? You know, like if someone were to say, here, you're supposed to be some sort of martial artist. Hold a pencil first. You know, like, and I started going in. Anyway, her friend is like in hysterics. So, because I did do a couple temperature checks just to make sure that I wasn't going overboard. Because I made some like,
Why are you making that face?
I made some cultural statements as well, you know, in the privacy of my own home. You know, but I know everybody today, you know, like, you know, so I just did a couple check-ins. I'm like, all right, joke's still going over well. Anyway, so then we wrapped up, but I had a fucking blast.
That's
Just
awesome.
shitting on kids' art.
Yes. It was great. And so I finished, you know, we were all done with that, and I hung out for a little bit, and then Laura and I went to bed, and then they continued to hang out. She slept over, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this morning I woke up, you know, and I was kind of like, you know, because sometimes the night before seems like great. And then in the morning, I'm like, it may not have been as great as I remember it being, you know, now that my sober mind is back. And so I just sort of I'm laying low in the kitchen, just sort of, you know, like checking the vibes.
Peeping.
Yeah. And Shayna's like, hey, I want you to know my friend came upstairs when we went upstairs, and she was like, your dad is really funny. This is my favorite part, in a way that I was not expecting.
That's great.
I mean, when you think of someone's dad, right, especially at that age, that's not the type of shit you imagine hearing from someone's parents.
Oh, there was this one, because you know anime, right? You're familiar, Jay. All of their chins come to like a 45-degree angle. So
Why does that make me think of Yu-Gi-Oh for some reason?
Oh, that's super pointy. Yes.
So I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God. I was like, can you imagine if this bitch came and cuddled up with you and put her chin on your back? I'd be like, bitch, if you don't get a pillow the size of Mount St. Rushmore and get your fucking pointy ass head off of me.
Hey, I bet you that pointy chin person is really good at one thing: putting on pillowcases.
You're probably right.
Like
Hold
Jay,
it.
like Jay Leno at a laundromat.
So anyway, I had a fucking riot.
That's great.
Yeah, so we're gonna do it again.
Little do these people know, sending the art, the fan art, to show their appreciation, is getting shit off.
So Jaina was very defensive. And Laura, of course, was the worst. Like, mine were jokes. I mean, they were honest, but they were jokes. Laura was like, this person should never draw again. How long have you been doing this, Jaina? You know, Laura's serious about her. How long have you been doing this? 2 years. 2 years is too long. There's no growth in her. She should quit.
Wow. Is she on the Orange Crushes too?
No.
That's more rough. Actually, that's more rough to hear.
Yeah, she's hard. My wife's horrible. And my wife, she has no appreciation for stylistic changes. So, that shit either looks good or it doesn't, right? So, Sam Keith's comic art, my wife would not be having that shit.
No.
She'd be like, it looks ridiculous. Why is his back all big like that? She has
nobody's feet are that
big. She has no time for it.
Where'd you get those shoes?
Which I think is hysterical. Anyway, we're gonna do it again Wednesday with Jaina's art. But this is more constructive criticism because she was like, Jaina was like, she was maybe I'll put on mine now, and I was like, Jaina, I'm in a mood.
Yeah. Check the temperature.
Let's try a different day. Okay, let's see. So Joey and I took a walk, and while on the walk, my dog took a shit. We're walking my kid to school.
Yep.
My dog took a shit in this yard, so I bent over to pick up the shit. Picked up the shit, stood up, continued walking. When I walk, my baby says, something came out. And I said, what? And she said, when you bent over, something came out. And I said, what are you talking about? She said, something came out. And I was like, what? And she's like, your butt crack came out when you bent over.
Are you to fit in great at New Japan Pro Wrestling?
And then she called you because
I pull
while you're laughing, you pull your pants out. And she said, you pull your pants out while you're laughing.
Well, you'd have fit in great at New Japan Pro Wrestling, Bobby.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of crack there.
Let's see what else.
Something came.
There's a lot of fucking kids in this neighborhood I didn't realize.
Yeah.
All these fucking
I
kids.
saw them today when I was
all
driving
these
in.
fucking scooter people. I'm like, man, I don't know. I guess I'm just old because scooters were never cool in our time. It's skaters, right? You got these fucking skaters running around. All these kids on scooters.
These kids today.
So I am watching 2 shows, one of which I talked about last week, one of which I'm going to address for the first time. I think it's on Hulu, the second one. I don't know exactly what it's called. In my mind, it's called Meet the Duggars, but I could be wrong
It's about that family.
It's about that family.
It's old show now, right?
So the show
The show is old.
The show is old.
The allegations are not.
Correct.
No, because I watch true crime stuff on the guy.
Yes.
He has I watched a lot of true crime stuff.
The son?
Who
Yeah.
has all kinds of child porn on his computer at his car dealership that his dad bought him or some shit.
Sounds about right.
And so they had 19 kids, and they were on a TLC show called 19 and Me or some shit.
19 and counting or
19 and counting.
I think it's the chromosomes that's missing a little bit.
Well, so what's interesting about it, because, I'm fascinated by the business stuff of all that. And some people got on there and they were like, look, the Learning Channel was like a series of documentary television programs until shit like this hit the Learning Channel.
It just came reality.
And then that's what went from the Learning Channel to TLC.
Well, then they said it was kind of like inside Hollywood, like inside show business. It kind of jokingly became called amongst, the people that know, the Lurking Channel. And
you just want to watch what everybody's doing, right?
Yep. And all these reality television shows, you attracted a lot of people, common ass people. And
I think it's like they have like My 600-Pound Life and
all that shit.
Is 90 Day
Honey
Fiance
Boo Boo? Is Honey Boo Boo on there?
Honey Boo Boo was on there. That was part of it.
So this common ass television with
I hate the
common
whole
ass
genre.
fans perpetuated Discovery, which owned Learning Channel, into a whole different stratosphere. And it's crazy to think, because in my mind it always seemed bizarre too, but it's like that's how they fucking bought Warner Brothers.
Yep.
By making trash television.
Yep. For the common person.
Fucking insane.
They're $9 billion in the hole right now.
Good.
Warner Brothers is.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was kind of interesting to me. And then I'm just on the second episode, so they're just getting into like the dark side of it. But they really talk about like the religious aspect. There's this whole like preacher that they got wrapped up in that sort of indoctrinated them into a way of life. That's how they started having all these kids. It was like be fruitful and multiply, be fruitful and multiply. But anyway, it's entertaining. It's entertaining. It's all I can say. It's not amazing, but it's entertaining. Now, what is amazing is Chimp Crazy.
Oh, he's still watching it too.
Chimp Crazy.
Did they find a guy in the basement or whatever?
Tonka.
Yes.
Yeah, let's put some respect on his name.
Yeah, this whole thing's out already, or are they?
No, it's episodic.
episodic.
It's episodic.
Episodic.
That's why I'm waiting for the synopsis from Bobby.
So a lot of times, you're following the narrative of this one place, but throughout the narrative, they sprinkle on other great ape stories, and I mean that as the double entendre.
Yes.
One they put on this one was apparently in Oregon. There was a young chimp there by the name of Buck. And Buck was a bit of like a local celebrity. Well, he came to get coffee. You know, he took pictures with the town folk. He would come to eat dinner at the local restaurant.
Whose face did he eat?
And everybody would be excited about Buck. Well, eventually...
This is a chimpanzee? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Eventually, Buck grew up.
Yep.
And the bigger they get and the more grown they get, the more you kind of have to isolate them, which only perpetuates their mental instability. Mm-hmm. So this woman that was keeping him had her daughter living there, who was an adult, in the basement, and they had a deal where when they get up, they let Buck outside. They call her, lock up the basement because she lived on the basement floor or the ground floor, and they lived on the top floor. Well, they broke protocol and let Buck out, and Buck found her and started eating her.
The daughter?
Mm-hmm. And I don't even know exactly if she lived or died from it. I think she lived, but ate like a part of one calf, part of her torso.
Jesus Christ!
I mean,
and then they say that when they pulled him away, he was confused almost. Like what happened? Is everybody good? What happened there? But anyway, they called the cops, and the woman that owns them called the cops. Like, there's a chimpanzee loose. We're going to need at least one deputy with a firearm that's a marksman. You need to shoot him in the head. He needs this lady wanted this chimp dead because she couldn't handle it anymore. Mm-hmm. And she got her wish. So they juxtaposed that with Tonka, but Tonka is, I don't want to sound like I'm the idiot buying a chimp, but he does seem sweet. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't have these violent tendencies, and he's older, but he's just a calmer soul. One of the reasons why they didn't want to let the sanctuary take him is because when he's around other apes, they bully him because he's just kind of like
chill.
He's just chill.
Just a chill dude.
Yeah. But now, supposedly Tonka has had a stroke in the past. Mm-hmm. They claim that he had a second stroke, and now she's claiming that he has congestive heart failure. And it sounds like to me, now, I'm on pins and needles, Joey, on the edge of my seat waiting for next week's episode, but it sounds to me like she wants to have the animal put down as opposed to letting it go to the sanctuary because she's going to get found out, and is saying that he's sicker than he actually is what it seems like to me, and also trying to escape any charges by saying, well, no, he really is dead now.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's just fascinating. And then the woman who you kind of, and I'm spoiling this for all you guys, and I apologize, but like, you kind of think of her as just a complete fucking aloof human being.
They're out there.
I mean, I feel like anyone who is in this kind of business or have to keep mental capabilities
ever ends well. I mean, it sounds
with
like
people who want to fucking have alligators in their fucking bathtubs and chimps or fucking
or even
lions or whatever.
It's pretty proven that at 5 years old they change their mindset, or however old it is.
It's known. It's not new.
Yeah,
at this
maybe
point.
You don't keep one in your house past that.
Yep.
Or just don't have one.
Or just don't have one.
There's no reason for you to have one.
So this lady they went into her past a bit, and then you're like, oh fuck, man, she too is a human being. Like, god damn, fucking tragic fucking people. So she got married. I think wanted children, but didn't think she could have children, and started fostering children. And like took in all of these kids with like mental disabilities and everything, and like took care of them until they could get grown and get in a facility that wasn't an orphanage. Like really went at, like put her life to the side and took care of all these sick kids.
Wow.
For fucking years. And I think subconsciously or psychologically, she ended up having one kid in the midst of all that. But psychologically, it was crushing her to care for these human beings that weren't fully functioning human beings. They weren't fully capable human beings. And then having to move on, that she fucking chose something that would forever be indebted to her. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's where that stems from. But it's just fucking, it's an insane story. Like, the players aren't necessarily as crazy as like the Tiger King shit.
Yeah, those people are fucking all of them.
But the story is crazier, in my opinion.
Wow.
Okay, so last note for me. So I was sitting on my couch this week,
As one does.
and I had a funny thought.
Uh-oh.
It just popped in my head. So, when you're a kid, right, like a toddler or like in diapers, or you're walking, and like you do something like, I don't know, you take a shit, or you put your building blocks up in a row, like parents or like people on the side will be like, look how proud he is of himself. He's so proud of himself. And it's like this endearing and like beautiful, like fun and charming and thing.
Yep.
And then that motherfucker gets older and you can't stand to see a motherfucker be proud of himself. You want to tear a motherfucker down that's proud of himself, or you think, or he's a fucking obnoxious, or she is a fucking obnoxious asshole because they're too fucking proud of themselves. Isn't that funny?
But you want to take them down, pig? Well, it depends.
Pride before the fall.
But like, I mean, because
Hey, look at that dumbass suit. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you just look at kids and grown people differently. Kids get a lot of leeway for things.
Yeah, for sure. It's just funny to me.
Yeah.
Like, because people love it as a kid. But then you get older and be like, man, that motherfucker ain't shit.
And for normal shit.
Yeah.
Like, as kids are like, oh, look at him doing just whatever the
put
fuck.
his pants on. He's so proud of himself.
And
Isn't he proud of
nowadays, like, whoa, you want a word?
What do you want, a cookie?
Yeah.
Like
I got new shoes this week and nobody asked me how fast I could run.
anyway.
Except when other people look at your art and trash on it when you're a kid.
Yeah.
That's the only
pretty
sad.
hard.
What monster would do that? You know what I mean? Fucking proud of himself. So that's all I got. Let me go into notes. There's not much, as a heads up, and Joey might give us a thought after we do notes. It's actually only one note. I don't even really want to talk about this as the note, because I don't believe in anything. Let me say this. I never believe anything about Hollywood and things in the works.
Oh, yeah.
So-and-so's been attached. So-and-so.
Not till there's a release date.
Release date, trailer, okay.
A
now-
press conference.
Yeah, now we're talking.
I mean, because we know that they have finished movies
Yep.
that they don't put out.
Put them right on the shelf.
How is 2 movies in the past like 5-6 years that they did that?
Batgirl.
Oh, they did release them on New Mutants. Wasn't that on the shelf for a while? They finished it for a while.
It kind of got put in limbo between the Fox and Disney shit,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, that's right.
But they were done.
they
But
forgot
they were
all
done with
about
it.
that.
That's what I'm
I've
saying.
never watched it.
They were
I've
done
never
with it.
seen it.
I think
Me
they just
either.
kind of. It's on Disney Plus.
I've never seen that.
Forgot about it.
I forgot.
Because they finished the movie and then didn't put it out for a long time.
They just did they even release it in the theater, or did it just get put on Disney?
I think it was in the theater.
I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, that was
so,
one that.
So I don't believe it and shit until it's actually out.
Same. But So there's a fighting game. I'm not going to say the name of it. That supposedly a writer has been attached to, I think, or a director maybe. I say all that to say this. I want to get to it, but so Street Fighter 2 is like Street Fighter 2 is an institution in my mind. It's its own institution.
Yes.
Mortal Kombat comes out and makes a name for itself.
Mm-hmm. The only real rival.
Yes. Then Mortal Kombat 2 comes out and changes the game forever. And then everybody had a fighting game.
Oh yeah, every motherfucker does.
So I thought we could go through what we remember a bit about other fighting games that came out in that Mortal Kombat 2 space. So the first one that I remember is Primal Rage.
Oh yeah,
And
the dinosaur.
There were dinosaurs
you loved that
with
shit.
one ape man.
Yes.
And
And you only play the ape, I assume?
no, I like the one with the long neck.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Hey, yo. But I remember when it was at a round one fight, or because that was my buddies and I used to joke about it all the time. But it was like, Street Fighter was like round one fight, and then Mortal Kombat was like round one fight, and then I remember Primal Rage, they didn't say fight, they said rage. It was like rage.
And they were like claymation or some shit.
I think they may have been.
It was like a claymation thing.
That was great.
Yeah,
and it was unique.
It was unique, and there was like people, there was like cavemen on the ground.
On the ground. You pick them
up and eat them to get your health back.
Yep. I don't know I'm sure I played that at some point in time. I haven't played in years. When did Tekken become relevant?
So Tekken's another one.
It was way after.
It was way after.
Virtual Fighter was the first.
Virtual Fighter was
That's
the big
what I was
one.
trying to think of.
Everyone loved Virtual Fighter. It was just like Lego blocks, but at the time it's only 3D, and you
it's
had
like Minecraft people.
I love Minecraft nowadays. But you had the 8-way run, which it was called.
Yeah.
Where you're not stuck on 2
360.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to think about other ones because there were other ones.
Oh, there's a lot.
So Star Wars had one. It was strictly for consoles. It was a fighting game. I can't remember what it was called, but you could be a Luke Skywalker. You could be a Gamorrean guard. You could be like, and you squared off because you had special moves and the whole fucking bit. It was a whole thing.
I mean, it's Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur.
It was Soul Blade at first, and then Soul Edge, and then Soul Calibur. It's all the same series. And then we had some Star Wars characters in those. Yoda and Vader. And Star Killer was in some of them. And that was after. And there was unique because it had weapons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Samurai Showdown had weapons.
Okay.
Star Wars Masters of Terras Kai.
Yes.
That was it.
Yes.
Fucking King of Fighters.
Yep, King of Fighters
is like the rival on Street Fighter level.
I'm trying to think about. There was other ones too.
No, was it Clay?
Def Jam Vendetta.
Oh my god!
There was one.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Which had so funny story about Def Jam Vendetta. Def Jam Vendetta had a guy in the game. Look this up. I'm not whistling Dixie, Joseph. Named Comp. COMP. Comp was from Baltimore. He was signed to Def Jam. He was on a remix of Ghostface Killer's Run and never really got off the ground. But a studio that we used to use, he was the engineer there. He had, he was an awesome dude and extremely talented. He has a song called Hole At, which was like an anthem around here for a bit, but very underground, never popped. But it was called... It was called Hole That. It was incredible. But he had this little I mean, it's not funny. He had this little gnarly hand.
Oh, the one your kid's friend draw?
Yes.
The strong hand.
So much, in fact, that he has a song called "The Man with the Hand," where he goes into growing up with this fucking hand, and it's great. But I want to say the hand was like that in the video game too, and may have been Comp, C-O-M-P, and may have been part of his superpowers, the special moves.
That would make sense.
But yeah, that was one. Joe Button was in that game too.
What?
Yeah. I think
Killer
so.
Instinct. I enjoy Killer Instinct a lot.
Oh fuck!
Killer
Yes,
Instinct.
Killer Instinct.
Combo breaker.
Combo breaker. Yeah, that was one. So the reason why I bring this up is because rumor has it that one of those fighting games, which we have yet to mention,
Wow.
is getting made into a live action motion picture. This fighting game was exclusive to Sega Genesis.
Eternal Warriors?
Eternal Champions.
Eternal Champions. I remember. I liked that game.
Yeah, I did too.
I rented it from Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I never bought it. But they had all the kinds of different monsters.
Yeah, yeah.
They had like the Atlantean guy, they had a vampire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't have any recollection of that whatsoever.
Yeah. So it's coming. It's going to come.
Genesis only.
Supposedly.
I mean, of anything they could have picked to have a story about, that's interesting at least because it had interesting characters, not just a bunch of dudes fighting for some kind of
Yeah.
tournament saving the world.
Yeah. Something else. So look forward to that.
Who picked this license up? That was
idea.
one game because there was another monster-ish fighting game that is still popular. Or kind of the characters are Darkstalkers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so everyone knows Darkstalkers.
Yeah.
You know, people don't remember Eternal Champions.
Oh, what about Super Smash Brothers? Does
Except-
that count?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's a huge.
Yeah.
That
That was later, right? That was a little bit
know.
later.
I don't know what.
But that's
years
that's a franchise that stands on other franchises. It's not its own thing.
well, true.
Yeah.
But
It doesn't count.
It was
It's just
a
like
fighting
Fortnite
game.
doesn't count to me. It's just like
Well, that's fair.
you have nobody cares about your
You're
shit.
just buying licenses. Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
they have everybody. Snake from Metal Gear to Mario to Ken and Ryu to all these obscure anime characters. And
You have everybody. You're nobody,
I remember one thing that was cool about. Oh, there was Capcom versus Marvel.
which is great.
Yep.
see, I kind of put that in the Street Fighter 2 bucket. 'cause
Yeah,
it's-
that's fair. Totally fair.
There was because of the crossover. Because we had X-Men: Children of the Atom, which is phenomenal when it came out. There was the first time they had a super jump, like when you have to go to. And then that's when you have Capcom versus X-Men, and then you have Marvel versus Capcom after that.
Okay.
But the X-Men: Children of the Atom was like a groundbreaking when that came out. It was unique.
Well, what I remember about Killer Instinct was every now and then you would stumble into one of the arcades that had like the Mega Killer Instinct console. It was like the console was here right in front of you with the joystick, so to speak, and the buttons. And then 2 feet.
The screen
was
is
a
way
huge,
yeah,
big
yeah.
screen
That should-
Yeah, it's like
monitor.
Yes.
Dave and Buster's style. Yeah.
So everyone was standing around and watch.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was a kid, I'd go into this was Street Fighter, not Street Fighter 2, it was Street Fighter.
Oh wow.
I was always too intimidated to play it because there were much older kids with quarters stacked up.
Yeah.
But that's how
put 'em up top.
it was
line
almost
up.
like the screen was like a big screen TV and
Yeah.
then you were back like 2 or 3 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And MK2
Yeah.
had the ledge.
Yes.
That ledge became like it's funny because like that stuff fascinates me because it's like it's culture being birthed. You know, we're just like, no, these are the rules and parameters. We all understand.
We don't know who
it.
came up with it.
Everybody plays
Yep.
by the rules.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like MK2 is like worth a deep dive conversation for me, but like, you know, just the rumors that surrounded that game and, you know, just
All the dumb shit people made up, but then became true because
yeah. Well, and there was both, right? Because like there was some that was like, I heard there's this secret character that you unlock, or I heard Scarlet is this character.
Yeah.
But then it ended up being, it was a mistake.
Yep.
It was Katana, but she had, for whatever reason, it was a glitch in the game where her suit was red instead of blue. But like it
had to
became,
do
it took
certain
on a
things
life
to
of
get
its
the-
own,
yeah.
you know? And then like, it was all these like little things that were just fucking cool. And then,
I mean, finding Reptile in the first game when you saw like
Yep.
the shadow over the moon. It's like,
Yep.
what the fuck is
what
that?
the fuck is that? Yep. And it, the whole thing, like they were like, dude, there's this whole thing you can do called bestiality.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yes.
It was like you could turn into an animal and kill the other person. I was like, bestiality?
That's
I was
not.
like,
That's not. That was not what you think it is.
you know. And then they brought it in, but they called it animality.
Yeah.
Much smarter choice.
Yeah.
Anyway, Joe, you had did you have a little anything?
I was brewing my mind since the con with this friend that Jane has. Remember, she said, maybe it was somebody else, but it was around the con, and she said somebody felt like I don't feel like a loser here.
Yes, that was her.
That's been brewing in my mind. Like, is nerdom and like being a loser like intrinsically tied? And it's like,
That's I don't know.
and why?
It doesn't have to be.
But I'm also not a
And-
kid now.
But
I
and
don't
also
know.
like sometimes it feels maybe elitist of us we're at the cool table that like because we talk about nerds, classic nerds and basement dwellers and neckbeards, and that we're not like them, right? Because so we're part of
They not like us?
perpetuating. They're not like- we're part of perpetuating that fucking nerds are these like, the weebs and the fucking stinky
And the
fucking
New Japan
guys.
fans,
Like
yeah.
we are perpetuating this
Stereotype.
and we are above it. We're into this shit, but we're above it. Right? And there are others, few others of us who are like us that are cool.
Yeah.
Right? We perpetuate this idea.
Yeah.
It's like how true is that idea and how harmful is that idea?
Very true.
But again, we're talking about adults.
But,
Yes,
but,
yes,
but
yes.
it stems from that childhood though. Like the hierarchy starts there,
Yeah.
and we just carried it
It's true.
with us.
But so I think-
through
I just
now.
well, hang on real quick. So
Go for
I
it.
don't, and maybe I'm not. I don't look at things the same, but you know, we have service people come in our house, and you know, a semi-regular basis. They're spraying the bug guy, or you know, they're coming in to work on the well. I would say 9 times out of 10, those people have a positive comment about all the shit in my house. Oh, I love, you know, Star Wars or it seems to be more often than not. Oh, One Piece stuff. I love One Piece. Who's your favorite? And then I'm like, that's my wife's stuff. Hang on, let me get her and she'll love to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. In my mind, it just seems
So
like, I mean, you go like
times has
think
changed
about like
also.
hot Topic now is a fucking anime shop, right?
Yeah.
So in my mind, stuff like that is so pop culture now.
That's
it's
changing
no
over time.
different. It's no different than watching, you know, Beverly Hills 90210 when we were kids.
So there's different. I think there's different shades of it, right? So I think
They
there
have a lot to do with personal behavior.
yeah,
around
so-
those
But why
hobbies.
are they intrinsically tied though?
because there are some people that love the shit as a kid. They get introduced to it as a kid and fall in love with it, but are able to have a wider scope of life. And there are some people that fall in love with it and center on it and never get that wider scope of life. So
You're right about that for sure.
So I'll use Jaina as an example, right? Jaina in 9th grade had a very rough year, struggled, you know, especially in the beginning. Like some of the shit that these motherfuckers would do to her, dude, like you talk about a whole conversation that I could have about like being a parent and having to stand by and watch people not watch, but hear about people hurting your child and you can't do a fucking thing about it because you will only make it worse.
Yep.
So I'm not parent of the year, but I have to give myself a little pat on the back because I saw her becoming hyper focused on this thing where no life existed outside of it. What do you want to do? Draw anime. What do you want to watch? Anime. What do you want to listen to? These anime songs. What do you want? What do you want to wear? This shirt with the anime character. Anime. There was no life outside of anime. So I made a conscious effort to start introducing her to other things that I thought might be adjacent, right? Not adjacent to anime, but adjacent to whatever feeling she was having that made her want to dive headfirst into something and only stay there. So I introduced her to Kanye West, and I started introducing her to movies. And because of that, she started to expand what she was taking in. Still enjoys anime, still draws anime almost every day. But now she's listening to different music, not just Kanye, just lots of, she's into music. She's anxiously looking forward to watching movies. She wants to see The Godfather. She just saw Scarface and fell in love with it. But it has widened her ability to speak about things. And now she has a table full of friends at school. They're not the popular kids.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. But she has a tribe.
Yeah.
Because they all don't have to like the exact same thing to exchange information.
That's a great move there.
So So is the being stuck in one thing, not anime, anything? Is this the stuck in the one thing that
we've certainly seen it with Transformer fans.
Yep.
is that what? How is that what causes some? It limits the worldview or the interest. But why? It doesn't matter what one fucking thing you get stuck in. You end up being the same basement dweller guy mostly.
because
like what?
Where else
causes
do you?
that?
What else do you do?
But why?
That's why I think it's so important that like the realm exists for these people to go somewhere and meet people like they do. And Bobby's community he's formed within the Patreon. I just think it's super important that I wonder like how many of these people that I talk to on a pretty regular basis prior to finding a community, finding a tribe, so to speak, were maybe just those exact basement dwellers we're talking about. Maybe we pulled them out of the basement. But saying that to say, we don't, and I've mentioned this before, anytime, we get together at a con or whatever in years gone by, and I look around and like, nobody's talking about toys. We're talking about life, right? I think that really has helped expand some horizons as well. And probably we jokingly call it the realm of enablers because like, oh, you're going to buy Mezco now. Okay.
There are people that
look with that, right?
Yeah. There are people that like when they get hyper focused on something that doesn't lend itself to social interaction. And that's when they end up in the basement.
They like, why does that make you not shower or like have poor hygiene or like
you don't care? I think you just don't care. You don't care. Nobody cares about. I think the mentality becomes nobody gives a shit about me or what I do. Why should I bother to wash my ass?
Yeah. Or eat right or exercise or
shave my neck. I'll see you over there, Bobby.
Yeah, you see it, dude. Any chance I fucking get,
I know. I'm the same way.
But they do go out. That's how they get seen. Like they congregate into. Well, I guess what? Oh, I forgot about this term. The stinky fatties, as Robert D would call them.
Yeah,
but they congregate, and like the rest of us go to conventions, like stinky fatties.
Yeah,
like they're out and about. It's not like they don't know. You gotta know.
Well, like, and maybe sometimes your tribe is. Nobody cares because they all stink.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of times those the every now and then you see them herding, but oftentimes they'll be alone, or maybe they are fortunate enough to have a girlfriend around. But oftentimes, I mean, I have pictures of cons and you can spot them.
Sprinkles throughout.
Spot them, got them. Like where's Waldo? Like there they are. There's one. There's one. There's one.
The hair's real shiny.
I think that like
flex the light.
Like you can tell when the social interaction is limited. It's not unlike kids that are like homeschooled and shit, right? Like you just don't get out. You don't learn these fundamentals of how to deal with the world. That really they can't be taught. They have to be experienced.
I mean, if they were just bullied, right? Like you were saying, watch people get bullied, and perhaps unfairly.
Well, I wasn't saying why she got that.
Regardless, like being bullied for just liking different shit than other people, right? Like, because you might not start out as a stinky fat, and you grew into that because you got socially isolated,
right?
Because you got outcasted, not on your own volition, right? So. And it's different now because it is a little bit easier now than it was in our times because nerd stuff is become pop culture. It was not pop culture in our time. It was. Right? So now the kids growing up in this era at least has each other and has an internet.
Well, and I
has
think
some kind of outlet that we didn't.
Yeah, but that doesn't solve it. So like that's what Jaina got. She got this little community, right? That she became some sort of a big deal in. So she got it. And it didn't help. It didn't fix her. She was still sad. She was still alone. She was depressed. But she had this hyperfixation. And she's had this her whole life. Like sea animals.
Oh, yeah.
Like whatever. Like she becomes hyperfixated on one thing. And like, I think just
the vibes.
Her just expanding her repertoire. And even things like, dude, like, there's certain, I'm so proud of her. But like, she wasn't taking great care of herself. She wasn't.
I remember saying that.
She wasn't eating great. She was sitting around watching anime and talking to no one. But I think like listening to music and understanding how humans, not cartoon humans, but real humans think and talk. And she's like, oh fuck, like I should take a little bit of pride in myself. And now she's not a fashionista, right? She's not Selena. Selena makes sure that her shit is put together, but she cares. She wants to be presentable. When she's fucking running. She like takes a little jog every morning, like shit like that. Like it's like she's completely reinvested into herself now.
That's good stuff
because she got out of the proverbial basement. And I think that like her generation, Gamez, perfect example, right? Gamez sat here and you and Gamez talked about anime and different shit, and he knew every single one you were talking about. because it is pop culture now, and there's nothing wrong with liking it now.
Yeah.
Lots of these kids watch anime or have watched anime growing up, but they didn't become isolated in it.
They can become a weeb.
They became part of a larger culture that anime is a part of. I don't think you get judged today in school for being an anime nerd. I don't think you get judged in school today for being familiar with or understanding anime. You get judged if that is your life.
That's your personality. Do we not know people? Are there not people who are this kind of fanatics, fans of one thing who are cool? Do we not know anyone who's like a super Transformer fan per se? That is like one of us.
I can think of there's
right?
plenty.
There's plenty,
but it's
what makes them different?
honestly a lot.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if I do.
You don't know?
I can think of two. I don't want to name any names.
Right.
You and I both know very well.
But a lot of people that I know that are into
Star Wars fans
that are into like something that we grew up taking anime out of the picture.
Yeah,
right?
just any one thing that we're talking about, hyper focusing on one thing and that making that your personality.
100%. Right? I think that a lot of them are some locked in that pocket too. And I think it could be Transformers. I think Transformers is a big one. Comics is one. There's a weird Transformers Power Rangers thing. I don't know what it is.
Power Rangers and Kamen Rider is its own whole other.
Yeah, but there's something with Transformers fans and Power Rangers. There's
really,
and
I think it's people a little bit younger than us that are into both.
Yeah,
because
but when you find the person that's hyper fixated on those two, they're definitely in that pocket.
Yeah,
it's like you can set your clock to it. But I think that now we are older, so. If I have, I want to say one of these goofy sons of bitches, but I don't really mean. I just knew it would be funny.
So cool.
But if I meet one of those folks and I had them at my house or whatever, but now it's different. I'm a 43-year-old man. I'm not I don't. Life is different. Like, so I might appreciate the quirkiness about somebody that, that they're a little tone deaf to certain things or whatever. Like, I might find that interesting in a different way.
Yeah.
That 16-year-old me would be like, man, get this fucking goof.
That is a thing. That's true. Cause like when we have get together, we go to cons and there are people that I talk to and enjoy spending time with. I would definitely be like, I normally in different circumstances, I would never be talking.
Yeah.
Especially back in high school, it would definitely not.
Oh my God!
Even though
are you dumb?
I've always been a fucking nerd, but I was bullied for the longest time. So until a certain point,
so I was always into nerdy shit, but there was always more for me. I always liked movies. I always liked music. I always liked, as I got older, alcohol and getting fucked up and partying and like.
That helps.
But I liked
socializing wise.
Yeah, but I and I was my neighborhood wasn't an easy neighborhood to make friends in. So I learned how to make friends quick. I learned how to be aggressive in a physical and like in a social space quick. They're like survival tools almost, right? But that's because I went outside.
You touched grass.
I went the fuck outside because my father, my grandmother would have let me do whatever the fuck I want, to be honest. She cut the crust off my sandwich for I was fucking 18. My father was not going to have me sitting in the house watching TV all day.
Yeah.
Get your fucking ass outside. And so I was forced. It was like into the jungle. And I had to figure out who was who, and I had to make friends, or it was going to be lonely out there.
Right.
But, you have that in you, which is, and a lot of people don't, unfortunately. They don't have, they just end up being like, oh shit, this jungle's scary, I'm going to stay inside.
Yeah, but I didn't have the choice. So I think
so that helped.
I had to.
You had to, yeah.
And I think that sometimes I think, Chris, you and I can agree that we've seen people that have been, I assume, one of these goofy sons of bitches. But like, that we have seen people that I assume would have been social loners kind of blossom.
Yes, absolutely.
Like just from getting outside. Like, and I think that the safety that certain environments have provided them, along with common interest and a little bit more of a welcoming demeanor in an older age,
right?
Has allowed people to become social beings that never were until their fucking 30s.
Yeah,
right. No, I agree.
It makes it easier.
Yeah. So I don't think, and I think there's like other things too, like outside of nerd realms that you can just get pocketed in and like modeling and you know what I mean, just shit like that, and you could just lose your cars. People like tinker with like,
I mean, listen,
and they become complete.
They're car people now.
Yeah, and until they start driving, they're locked inside, just fucking with little models and everything else, and they become isolated. There's certain things like people.
Well, you have to find car clubs, right? And then you go have meetups.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
I think that's what this girl. But this was this girl was saying, right? Like when she went to a concert, I don't feel like losing it, but there's other people like me. And
it was a recognition.
Is it a key that you just need to find other people like you? I mean, not a key, but like you just need to be lucky enough to find other people like you.
So I think there's two separate things there. I think one is about being social and being a nerd and being a closet or a basement dweller.
Yeah.
And then the other one is about feeling alone, right? In terms of there's no one like me.
Right.
So I think when she went to that con, she was like, okay, there are other people like me, but that won't necessarily put her on a trajectory to not be a fucking basement dweller.
Yeah.
The fact that she's going there with a friend is going to help get her off that track.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I buy that.
Great discussion, Joey.
That's all random
stuff,
thoughts.
We do have a couple questions, but if you want to send one, Christopher.
Hey.
You can email us at nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com.
So, hello, love. This is from a Startease Pete. Hello, lovely boys. Hope you're good. First, a quick congrats to Joey on passing his exam.
thank you.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I'm just paying out the ass now.
Oh, hold on. We're getting a call live on
phone call?
on
Nice.
the internet. Year. Oh. Year.
Yo.
Hey.
Oh, I thought you was at.
Yo. No, I got to edit that
Motherfucker!
Yo,
Guest
what up,
star.
boys?
out. We got Nerd Rage going
This
on.
ain't on a paywall, buddy.
Clearly, Joe's not rooting for Kobayashi today, like a real American.
What's going on?
Oh,
Netflix is live streaming the hot dog eating contest.
yeah, so it's
Joey
Chestnut versus Kobayashi.
That's
Yeah.
right.
What can I do for you, sir?
Nothing. I thought you were at the mopping business.
Oh, no,
Making sure
unfortunately.
you guys were watching America's Pastime.
No, but have you heard about the Glizzy contest going on where I'm up? Have you heard about it? Okay, so I'll tell everybody.
Yeah.
So where I work, sometimes these little we'll call them competitions come up. So Cool Burn and Reardon have got into a pissing match of sorts over who can devour the most glizzies.
Okay.
Okay.
So they're doing 3 rounds.
I love us.
Hold on. 3 rounds?
3 rounds.
Wait, 3 what timed rounds, I guess?
Yeah. So you ready? So the first round was
Has this already happened?
for the round 1 has happened.
Oh, okay. It's a multi-day event.
multiple days.
Yeah,
okay.
Wow.
it's multiple days. The next round is going to be Sunday. I don't even know if I'll be able to.
Is it best 2 out of 3 or what?
Is
Oh,
this
that's a good question.
Is this being live streamed?
I wish.
Casey's it being live streamed?
No.
No?
Nah.
So okay, round 1 was they had to sit and eat as many hot dogs in a sitting as they could.
Just a dog or the bun?
dog and bun, and they were Martin's potato rolls. So
Oh,
a
geez,
that's
heavy bun.
Condiments?
Heavy bun.
Condiments?
That was your choice.
Okay.
It was your choice.
Could you Japanese them?
Excuse me?
No, it's dunk. It's from
Dunk 'em.
Kobayashi. Dunk them in water.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. So Reardon won that. It's Reardon won.
Like, what kind of volumes are we talking?
Yeah.
You know?
So Reardon had 8.
It's chump change.
Yeah, compared to
So,
35.
I could
So-
eat 8 hot dogs right
rookie
now.
number.
So I'm telling you, with
with the potato bun.
with the Martin's potato roll.
Yeah.
That's a beefy bun, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's dense.
So he ate 8, and I can tell you these boys were looking miserable by about dog 6.
They chose that life.
The landscape started changing. So
It was 8 to what?
I'm sorry.
8 to 7 or
8, it was 8 to 7. It was 8 to 7, and they had 1 pack of dogs if they needed to go into overtime. But
Number 7 gave up on.
yeah, number 7 gave up. So right now it's 1-0 Reardon, and Reardon might come out to Nerd Rage. Okay, so round 2 takes place on Sunday, this coming Sunday, and it is 1 dog an hour for 12 hours.
I feel like that's
a
doable.
challenge.
You get time to shit it out, you know?
I hear you. I'm saying a lot of this stuff seems easier until you had to watch these motherfuckers do it.
A dog an hour for 12 hours?
12 hours. Okay, now round.
Dang, did y'all start at 7?
They are going to. I think they're going to start at 10 to 10.
Okay. Hey, hot dogs for breakfast, bro.
That's normal in Asia land, by the way. Hot dog for breakfast.
Put some scrambled eggs on it.
It's normal in trailer parks too.
Scrambled eggs
What are you trying to say?
scrambled eggs can make anything into breakfast.
So, and then what's that shit that you Pinkley Winks?
Binky Winks. Binky Winks.
Binky wings. Yeah.
All right. So then round 3 is in about 3 weeks. It's one dog an hour for 24 hours.
Oh, that's different.
So some of it has to be done virtually, right? But there's an honor system, and they're going to take pictures that are time stamped. You can stack one time for a maximum of 5 dogs. So if you want to do like midnight to 5 a.m., you can eat 5 dogs at midnight and go to sleep.
That's a good move.
There's one dog an hour for 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's an interesting setup.
It's still any man's game.
It is.
Because it's definitely different than sitting in one sitting.
Is there a prize for the
Street cred.
Oh,
Mostly.
motherfucker! You know how many hot dogs I can eat?
I can eat one hot dog an hour for 24 hours.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Yeah. You could probably come down and get in on the action.
Yeah, I'll take on the champ.
Yeah.
Just remember, BBL Drizzy, man.
lightweights out the way.
BBL
Yeah.
Glizzies.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'll let y'all get back to it.
All right, man. I'll see you on Monday. I'll see you in a week from today.
Sounds good.
Later.
Yeah.
See ya.
See you, boys.
So anyway, I got to edit that out.
You do.
Yeah. All right. So at Startease Pete, he said, "Hello, lovely boys. Hope you're good. First, a quick congrats to Joey on passing his exam. Love to hear. Quick random question this week. Do you have any oddities you've acquired for dealing with your collection? Mine is a pack of white cotton inspection gloves, and it's purely for first-time handling Fans Toys figures. That lubricant coating is gross, and they keep that off my hands, whilst also improving it from the figure I mess with. Peace and love."
I use white gloves for my Saint Seiya's because they're like chromed out and stuff. I
very
don't want
chrome.
to print them up. Yeah.
Oh,
What about spudgers? Aren't spudgers a unique thing?
I have so a lot of independent toy manufacturers suggest putting their toys in a warm water bath to loosen up the joints. And I actually have a bathtub that is action figure scaled that I ridiculously warm up water in to
Nice.
bathe my figures. It was
Is it okay to get water up in your figures like that?
well, I put it in a Ziploc bag and then put it in
Oh, okay.
water.
Now you don't.
A lot of
Oh,
people
okay.
just dunk them.
I dunk. I've dunked.
If
in
you've
the
got
past.
like-
I think I like your idea better.
soft goods or
Yeah,
whatever.
I feel like
Well, soft goods, yeah.
I feel like there's internal components that might not want to get wet, or there is
don't know.
grease or lubricants in joints or die cast parts and stuff.
Well, yeah,
that
I
you don't-
mean,
I
this
don't-
is just a plastic
Okay.
action, or I'm putting it in a Ziploc bag. Anyways, like Mezco's to get the heads off. You gotta heat them up sometimes. You know, the rest of the figures.
yeah,
you gotta
always
pop
gotta
the
heat them
arms
up
out.
before you get the head off.
There you go.
So I have a box of makeup brushes that I use for dusting.
They're great.
Yeah, they work like a
They're
champ.
great for a lot of things. They're great for dry brushing.
I do
With white.
Yes.
I went to the
a
Dollar
little
Tree this week and bought some. I use these tiny little. They're makeup brushes that are great little, almost one time use little
Yep.
dry brush stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have a
But we won't get into diorama project.
that's a whole
what
different
weird shit
ball
you
of
buy
wax.
because you'd question my sanity.
and I have a whole assortment of little tiny screwdrivers.
Oh yeah,
Crucial.
Well, and wrenches now too.
Okay, Paul C writes in. He said, "Missed last week, so here are 2 questions.
Oh boy.
Number 1, who are some famous people that you just think smell good? Having no scent doesn't count in this case. Who are some people that you think smell bad?" Okay. I think
Matthew McConaughey.
smells good.
Bad.
Bad. Yeah, that's fair. Jack Black smells bad.
I feel like he was smell surprisingly good.
Oh, I think he smells bad. I think he smells bad. And that guy from Hangover smells bad.
Ed Helms.
Which guy?
Zalafin.
Oh, Zach
Oh,
Galifianakis.
yeah.
I think Nicole Kidman smells good.
Probably.
I think Halle Berry smells good.
Who's the lady with the fucking vaginal candles?
Gwyneth Paltrow
I
and
thought about
Erykah
that.
Badu. So I think
both of them.
So I think Erykah Badu smells bad.
But Gwyneth Paltrow probably smells good.
I don't know, but I don't know. But I think Erykah Badu, she's too natural. She hasn't used like chemical soap in so
deodorants.
long that she smells bad.
I think
I think
Taylor-
Janet Jackson smells great.
I think Taylor Swift smells good
You're probably right.
because people bathe her.
Yeah. I think
like Slash probably smells like cigarettes.
yeah, he probably smells bad. So Axel probably does too.
Yeah.
Well, Axel.
Especially
I
like
feel like it was so greasy.
1989.
I think Jonathan Majors smells like abused women. No, I think
my God.
it's the perfume that ends up on his hands.
Oh my god! And it reacts with his pheromones.
No, but I think Jonathan Majors probably smells good. He looks like a guy like takes super good care of himself.
I think Tom Cruise probably smells good.
Yeah, probably.
Scientology.
No, it's probably the tears of the people below that they've compressed.
That's right. That's what it is. That's where they get it from.
Yeah.
A little salty.
Let's see who else I think smells good. I think Britney Spears smells bad.
Probably. Smells like.
I think Christina Aguilera smells good. I think Mariah Carey smells good.
I think she's neutral. I don't know if she ever have scent.
I think Kim Kardashian probably smells intense. It's probably too
Whatever
much.
this
for
is
me.
strong?
It's too much.
Yeah.
It doesn't have necessarily bad. It's just
Yeah,
too much.
Yeah, it's just too much. You can smell that bitch coming down the hall. You know, like if you're-
I know that when someone walks into the store,
Yeah.
and you like 3 aisles, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
yeah.
That's an interesting question.
I think the Sex Pistols probably smelled awful.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
actually, the whole punk movement, like the Clash, the Sex, like every
the whole
Misfits,
era.
it all
All
smelled
of it.
awful.
Pink Floyd.
That's interesting. So, I think it depends on what drugs they've been using.
And, how many days?
So I think if they were on some LSD bender, they probably smell bad because they've been sitting around the room. But if they were like on some pot run, they probably smell like pot, which I can take. It's skunky, but I like it.
It's an acquired taste.
Go outside anywhere in the world now
Yeah,
around
yeah,
people, and it
nowadays.
smells
I
like weed.
A whole city. A whole city.
A whole city.
Yeah.
It smells like Baltimore.
What is something that TV or movies gets wrong that drives you inappropriately crazy?
I mean, I think a lot of it has to base with profession, probably.
It does.
People who has a job in a certain thing and they see the movie of it.
Well, you know the thing,
With a
like,
thing done wrong or terms used wrong.
Yep.
like
I wish I could go into that.
enhance. You know that technology is not there. You can't really read that license plate.
Oh, it's CSI
On that blurry-
shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit doesn't exist. It did exist then, especially.
There's stuff like that, you know, in mopping, we drive around in vans, and some of those vans will pop up in, you know, 1/6 scale kind of dioramas or stuff like that, and are incredibly inaccurate, or they made the worst possible decisions regarding it that wouldn't be functional.
Yeah.
It drives me up the fucking wall.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
It's
things like.
transforming figures of those fans.
Yeah. Oh,
And it's funny because I used to always hate. You
Don't get me started.
You say watch movies with my dad because he always said that's not how that works. But now I'm that way. Like there's a scene in one of the Fast and Furious movies where they have a plasma cutter and they light it with like a acetylene torch,
Sparker,
and
yeah.
that's not how that
No,
works.
that's not how- no.
But that's how you to the layperson.
sometimes sex in movies. I'd be like, do people really fuck like that?
Sometimes people choose to fuck differently just for the funsies, but not on the regular.
Yeah, that's fair. It's usually it's like the more like perfect night of fucking that I'm like, does that happen for people?
Are you more as an adult like, and I am like
Grabbing the sheets.
a sex scene in a movie? I'm almost like, I don't care.
Yeah,
is this
you
important
can-
to the story? Can I
Yeah.
get through the? Can I just
you can cut to the
It's
next
almost
morning.
embarrassing.
You can cut to the you can start with the kiss and fade to black and start with the next morning.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
me.
it's juvenile mostly.
Yeah.
Unless there's a story, no, there is a storytelling
Every
aspect
now and then
of-
there's a storytelling
of the
aspect.
sex
Yep.
itself, like how you get into it. There's
Yep.
a story.
Yep.
That's the only exception.
I
But
agree.
there's other ways to establish these people have a connection, right?
Yeah, but
It's
sometimes
almost
the
lazy.
connection's fucked up.
You're right.
You know, and you need to show that it's fucked up.
Yeah. I get that.
You think construction workers look at Devastator and be like, "That's not how those vehicles work"?
I would bet 100%. I would bet 100%, just based off mopping vehicles.
That's also not how mini tape recorders work, but that's all right.
Yeah. And then our last question for the day is, can I have the nitrous today? This is from Andrew M. Hello again, wizards.
What's up?
My last write-in sparked a lot of conversation through the Ariana Grande UMG removing music from TikTok issue. So I figured I'd stay on trend and talk about the artist formerly known as Kanye West. Bobby, I heard you talk briefly about Vultures 1 on the pod when it came out, but I haven't heard your thoughts on Vultures 2. From the prevailing mindset online, it's not as good as Vultures 1, with some even outright saying it's pretty terrible. I won't comment much on that. You can if you want, but I will comment on the current conspiracy. Let me comment real quick on that.
And let me comment that I didn't even know that had happened.
Okay. So I think it's fine. I don't think it's great. I don't think it's bad. I love this song called Slide on it. Love it. I love Fried, Field Trip, River, Dead.
How do you remember all this?
And there's one other one. There's one other one that I love. I can't think of, but I love like 6 songs on it. You know, but the other songs I don't ever need to hear again. So it's fine to me. I think
It
it's
averages out.
yeah, I think it's unfairly judged, but you know, it's interesting because like the first album at first got a really negative thing, but it was because he was kind of wrapped up in some political shit at the time. But now the kind of mainstream media regarding those politics have sort of reversed their feelings on a lot of things, so they've kind of like let him go. And Vultures 1 is sort of more fondly remembered now generally, but it wasn't the case when it dropped. I love Vultures 1. You know, but I think Vultures 2 is fine. Slide, River, Fried, Dead, and Field Trip are my favorite. And River, did I say River? Okay. And I love them. Love them. So, that song that Dead at the end is like, I know you're crazy, but I know I'm crazy, but you're crazy glued to me. Like, dude, that is me and my wife, like through and through. So he says, I will comment on the current conspiracy as to why people believe this drop in quality happened along with much of his recent behavior. Ye's new dependency and addiction to nitrous oxide, which is killing his brain cells. As far as him and his addiction to nitrous, that seems far more legitimate than conspiracy. I'm sure you know much more about this story already, but in summary, Ye got permanent titanium teeth installed in January 2024 by dentist Thomas Connolly in Beverly Hills, who has been known for prescribing nitrous oxide to his patients heavily during and after procedures, along with peddling and promoting the usage recreationally, which is extremely dangerous. Ye is now on record for having a close association with Conley, where a number of group texts were leaked by Milo Yiannopoulos, you know that guy?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Ex-manager, discussing the future usage and designing new devices to use nitrous more effectively in recreational format.
Of course.
So he says Ye also has also gone live on Instagram while apparently doing nitrous on recording, and has a number of other details that help prove there's at least some usage of nitrous oxide recreationally. As comical as the juxtaposition above between Ye asking for more nitrous right after the dangers of its prolonged use were brought up, it really does seem like Ye may be getting manipulated in some way by those around him. Now, I'm absolutely no Kanye West fan, especially after the tweets made a few years ago that got him banned from the platform, and I don't really feel bad for him, but I will admit that he is one of the true creative geniuses of our generation. With that being said, I have no wonder if his mental instability is what leads to him being mentally and financially manipulated like this. He has historically been someone that seemed to go to great lengths to pursue creative endeavors, sometimes going well outside of the norms to accomplish his goals. As a result, it brings him closer to people on the outskirts of society that may bring their own baggage and ideas to Ye, which somehow fascinates him enough to believe it all. It seems like he has a history of parroting the mindset of everyone he gets close to in these spaces, especially as of late anti-Semitism after Milo became his manager. Obsession with anti-Semitism after Milo became his manager. Obsession with nitrous after being convinced of its benefits by Conley. It makes me think of his historic association between artistic genius and mental instability, which has been a factor for other creatives like Van Gogh, Mozart, Beethoven, Virginia Woolf, Poe, Dali, Syd Barrett from Pink Floyd, since we'll keep it in line. The list goes on. Whether it being the pursuit of artistic genius that can make you go mad, or the mental instability that sometimes is the root of great art. What do you think of the current situation he's found himself in? Is this truly as dire as the internet is claiming? And do you think there is legitimacy in mental health instability being a vehicle or a catalyst for approaching creative zenith? Thanks, Andrew M. Hell of a write-in, but thank you because we were short on content. So here's my thoughts. I have complicated feelings about this. Do I think that he's fucking with nitrous in some capacity, or has in some capacity? Yes. Do I believe anything that Milo has to say about anything? No. Outside of that, like, it's hard to say. I think that Vultures. I don't think I'm a Kanye West fan, capital F, but I don't like every project he's put out. You know, nitrous or no nitrous. You know, I don't like his second. I'm not crazy about his second album, Late Registration. I don't really care for Life of Pablo. I hated is a strong word, but the Jesus phase that he went through, aside from Donda, like, I love Donda, but the two before that weren't really my cup of tea. So my thoughts on his projects are up and down because he kind of explores new spaces, and I'm either on board for the exploration or I'm not.
Right.
But so like, he just did this show in Korea. I don't know if you've seen anything about it, but it looks like it was fucking amazing and went off without a hitch. So I don't get the impression that he's out of control somehow. So Vultures 2 leaked on the internet 2 days before the album came out. So I think that the album wasn't ready. He wasn't ready to drop it, and then felt strong-armed into dropping it so that it didn't get bootlegged all over the fucking place. And then he's made changes to it since. Like, he's updated songs and shit. But I think it's the same type of thing, right? Like, so Vultures 1 took, 2 years. Vultures 2 took 4 months. Like,
it could have just been
leftovers.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. It could have just been songs he didn't really plan on releasing, or wasn't ready to, and
So I think that there could be that. And yeah,
does Vultures 2 seem as? I mean, I listened to Vultures 1, and it seemed rather cohesive, like it linear songwriting. Does Vultures 2 have that, or does it more just seem like a bunch of songs?
So Vultures 2 does seem like that. It's just maybe what they're broaching there is not quite as sonically interesting.
Gotcha.
Vultures 1 has this song called Beg Forgiveness, which is like, it's one of my favorite songs of all time. But it's a journey, and it's ambitious, and you go on this journey through that record, and there's nothing quite of that magnitude on Vultures 2. Vultures 2 is more of like, okay, here's a song, and here's a song, and here's a song, and hope you enjoy some of them,
Yeah.
Vultures 2 seems more like a regular artist's album. Where Vultures 1 seems like, okay, Kanye has given us something again.
Yeah.
In terms of like the mental stability and artistic expression, I think you're dead on. And I think the question is always the chicken or the egg, right?
Yeah.
People that have lost their minds, it's like, well, did the music perpetuate the problem? Did the drugs perpetuate the problem? Or did any of it create the problem? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. They were, what do they call it? They were not neurotypical to begin with.
Yeah.
That's why they are great artists, because their brains don't work the same.
Correct. Mental health and my record collection do not go hand in hand.
Fair.
The lack of mental health in my record collection go closer. And I mean, like, it's just, we started with Pink Floyd, that dude Syd Barrett was like, he was only around for like one album, the first album, which is like, you got to be a hardcore fan to be into that shit. I'm like, no, give me the slaps. But like, he took a ton of drugs. I think LSD was like their drug of choice, but like, he like became a schizophrenic, but the question is, did the LSD create the schizophrenia?
I just brought it out.
Or did it put the gas in the tank for the schizophrenia, And I think that like people that think differently, people that view the world differently, and I think Kanye is one of them. And I even think like a lot of that anti-Semitism stuff, like I think that everything Kanye says, everything needs to be read, listened to, or consumed with a Kanye filter on it. That the dude says extreme things that he doesn't mean as extremely as they're put.
Yeah.
You know, so like, George Bush doesn't care about black people. That's a Kanye quote.
Yep.
Live on television.
I was watching it live.
You know, now, if you were to sit Kanye down and be like, Kanye, do you think there's not one black person on this planet that George Bush cares about that's not connected to him in some way? Colin Powell, or you know what I mean, like Condoleezza Rice. Like, do you think there's not one? You know what I mean, but that's not how Kanye works. Kanye says rash, irrational things, and none of us should be looking to him as the leader of our philosophical mind state.
You know, all I can think about is poor Mike Myers standing there.
Like he's like, he looks so
He's like-
shocked, like deer in headlight.
You know, and he puts it. He's like, do I disagree? Do I just, he's so awkward. But yeah, I think that like, I mean, I agree with him. I think he's one of the most creative minds of our time. And I think he's the greatest hip hop artist of all time. I don't think he's the greatest rapper by any stretch of imagination, but I'm choosing my words very, very carefully. And I hope that he's okay. It's hard. It's when you get to be a certain level of success, it's hard to not have people around you that aren't just going to say, great idea, great idea, great idea, great idea. Like, you really need this core group. And I think Kanye is a fucking nerd. I don't think he had a core group of friends. I think he had talent. That talent got him jobs and then got him instantly surrounded by people that wanted to make money off of him. And as a result, you're left with this guy that didn't have anything. And now he has everything.
I think people that are successful in any sort of art, music, or, anything, I think you have to be somewhat neurodivergent, because you have to be able to lock in and you just grind that shit out, right?
Yeah.
And not have outside hobbies, and be in the studio for 3 days and end up being a stinky fatty because of it. But it's passion, right?
Yeah,
to create.
But so he performed this in this stadium in Korea somewhere. And like, it gave me the chills watching it. But there's this moment where he's standing in the middle. It's like it's very dimly lit, everything that he's doing now. It's like he'll wear all white, but it's very dimly lit, and the crowd is relatively silent. And the one fucking key from Runaway hits, bing, and the crowd loses their fucking mind. And they have footage of him. He is in absolute total control of that situation. So like, I'm not saying that he's not fucking around with this shit, because I believe that he probably is. And I think it's dangerous, especially for him, because he doesn't do anything a little bit. It's another thing I relate to him with.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's out of control any more than he's normally out of control.
Fair.
Yeah. So with that, shout out to Maryland Phil on Twitter and on our notes. He had some other thing in our notes this week that I actually thought was interesting, but I couldn't get the article to like pull up. It was like you had to subscribe or something else, but there's some naturism museum that opened up in Marseille in France, and they're like encouraging like nude audiences.
Okay.
And I think that that's cool.
Like new speech. Yeah.
Very French.
And then shout out to Dante on Facebook. And I think that's really it. Shout out to everybody that comes through and helps. Oh, I think KC wrote something maybe about the hot dog thing. He said, Joey Chestnut for the win. 83 dogs. Jesus Christ. $100,000 prize. God bless America.
There you go. He's a beast.
So with that,
Flappy Labius.
Tasty tank.
tight dick player.